Slave DiBiase.
Happy Friday, man. In the words of a wise man, if you're new here, let me tell you what we do here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy, Slave DiBiase, aka Tony Spark, Slave Daniel Riches, aka Victor Von Slay, and this is another live sesh with the Offenders Initiative podcast, man. All my stoneheads, all my true offenders, thank y'all for bringing y'all shields and y'all blunts and y'all bowls and y'all bombs and y'all pulling up, because you could have been anywhere in the world for your 420, but you're here with your boy. You understand me? And I appreciate that, man. Salute to everybody who may digest this content, whether religiously or in passing. I very, very much so salute y'all, man. Salute. Don't forget to, when you pull up, tell me what you're smoking on for the day, what you're smoking out of, and where you're from. I always like hearing and seeing new people pulling up to the sesh, man. This is what we do, man. Happy Friday once again, man. Y'all see the caption. The Boys Season 5, Episode 6 recap, breakdown, whatever you want to call it. We're going to get into that. This new Hantavirus outbreak. I'm seeing we might be back on lockdown again. You know what I'm saying? We might be back on lockdown again. And is Marvel quietly loading the chamber for Avengers Doomsday? I hear tell of all sorts of official plot leaks. Of course, we're going to get into that as well, man. But once again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And also, we got Druski Skit talking about how the British actors are taking all of the American roles. And honestly, the man will tell you a joke, but he'll never tell you a lie. As a matter of fact, we honestly can start off with that, to be honest with you. Let's see. Let's get rolled up. We'll look at this skit and everything that dog talking about it, and I'll get rolled up. I'm so irresponsible. As a matter of fact, nope. We'll dial it back a second. I want y'all to check out the House of the Dragon Season 3 trailer with me. It just dropped a few hours ago. Yeah, no. Let's check him out. And I want to say this might be by way of HBO Max. So let's see. Let's get that under control right there. Bang, bong. House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon Season 3 trailer. Let's check it out.
You now have a power no man has ever wielded. You will have an empire unassailable Rhaenyra, and our children will rule it forever and a day.
All that remains is for you to decide what you want from this war.
You will do things that your heart would have recoiled from before you came to the throne.
The Targaryens are a savage race.
We act with holy purpose to restore a rightful king.
I'm going to kill my brother or die in the attempt.
Draw your sword. Look to the sky. Doom and ruin surround us. We'll all become beasts before our end.
It is no longer safe here.
This shit look lit.
There will be no doubt who the gods have chosen to rule.
Oh yeah. That show is definitely worth the $10.99 a month. We're gonna watch the trailer one more time, y'all. House of the Dragon Season 3. Let's go.
You now have the power no man has ever wielded. You will have an empire unassailable, Rhaenyra, and our children will rule it forever and a day.
All that remains is for you to decide what you want from this war.
You will do things that your heart would have recoiled from before you came to the throne.
The Targaryens are a savage race.
We act with holy purpose to restore a rightful king.
I'm going to kill my brother, or die in the attempt.
Draw your sword. Look to the sky. Doom and ruin surround us. We'll all become beasts before our end.
It is no longer safe here.
Yeah, lit.
There will be no doubt who the gods have chosen to rule.
All right, y'all. All right, y'all. How we feeling about that? Just as a little appetizer for the session. Season 3 of House of the Dragon, HBO Max. It's in the Game of Thrones universe. It starts June 21st. Will asses be in the living room to watch this? I surely will, y'all, because I'm going to tell y'all something. It's like House of the Dragon might be the next best thing to the original Game of Thrones as far as like all the action that comes into it and all of that. Yeah, that original Game of Thrones with all the mysticism and dragons and all of that. House of the Dragon got that times 3. You understand what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's kind of like Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, and then the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Although a Night of the Seven Kingdoms was fire too. Don't sleep on that, y'all. Don't sleep on that. You know what I'm saying? But tell me in the comments how you're feeling about that one, man. I might have a trailer breakdown a little bit later, probably next week sometime. Trailer breakdown of what we just saw and how it's going to match up throughout the season and what to expect. All right, moving right along. Druski got a new skit out saying that all the British actors are taking all the good roles, y'all. On to the next one, on to the next one. Yeah, I had this talk with my wife a minute ago, and I said, them British motherfuckers is coming up, bro. I'm telling you. I was like, everybody who we think is American that's knocking these parts out and all that, it turns out they be having a hope. Brev, what's going on, Brev? Damson, Idris Alba, all these guys that we know and love that be doing all these crazy roles, British cats. I want to know what kind of, you know what I'm saying, what's going on in the water out there, because they just breeding actors. But we gonna get into it right quick. Ooh, I got a little something. Before we get to Druski, here's something I want y'all to see. Before we get into all that. Check this out, y'all.
Fox News alert, the Trump administration releasing the first batch of files related to UFOs and alien life.
So what? Is the truth really out there?
Senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy joins us live with the details. What have you learned, Peter?
Good morning. So a White House official left this hard drive on my desk overnight. You can see on it, it says AARO files copy 203. That is the all domain resolution office copy 203. This is the first big batch of UFO disclosure ordered by President Trump. Some of the clips.
So we can open up these UFO files, but couldn't for the longest open up the. All right.
Videos on there have popped up different places before. Some of them have not, and we have been going through this all morning and overnight to try to put together some of the best videos so we can all look at this together. This is a world exclusive right here. So let's go to the first clip. Over the skies of the United Arab Emirates in June 2024, an inverted teardrop with a vertically linear trailing mass, as described by the War Department, suspended below. The War Department cannot say for sure what this is. It is officially listed as an unresolved UAP report. The next video, over the skies of Iraq, December 2022, moving bottom left to top right of the field of view.
Y'all see that?
All CENTCOM gets from this is an area of contrast. That's what they describe it as. It is officially still listed as an unresolved UAP report. Next video, over the skies of Greece, October 2023, what is described as a small and circular UAP flying near the surface of the ocean towards land. CENTCOM can't tell us what it is. It is officially listed as an unresolved UAP report. Within the last 2 minutes, all of these videos have gone live on war.gov/UFO, and a White House official tells Fox First, while past administrations sought to discredit or dissuade the American people, President Trump is focused on providing maximum transparency to the public, who can ultimately make up their own minds about the information contained in these files. And there's also a fresh look at some historical records. There's this from Apollo 17 included in this big document dump. One of the astronauts says, we've got a few very bright particles or fragments or something that go drifting by as we maneuver. The control center says, Roger, understood. Another astronaut says, there's a whole bunch of big ones on my window down there, just bright. It looks like the 4th of July out of Ron's window.
If you're just now tuning in, they're talking about Trump just released a few hours ago the UFO files that the government and all that never wanted us to fucking see. They released all this shit. You know what I'm talking about? You seen all those videos with all these flying over objects that are all shaped, misshapen, all odd and all that, and they flying and don't nobody know what it is? You motherfuckers know what it is.
Another astronaut says, yes, now you can see some of them in shape. They're very jagged, angular fragments that are tumbling. This exchange has long been dismissed as floating insulation, but now the White House is saying, while this photo has been previously released and discussed by keen observers, there is no consensus about the nature of the anomaly. And this all started, of course, because we asked the president about it in February.
Barack Obama said that aliens are real. Have you seen any evidence of non-human visitors to Earth?
Well, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. You know,
the aliens are real.
Well, I don't know if they're real or not. I can tell you he gave classified information.
Nah, bitch. Hold up, Ernst, man. We're not doing that. He gave classified information. He's not supposed to be telling y'all that. What does that tell you with your context clues? That means whatever Barack Obama said was true, just off of what Ernst man here just said. So they've been having aliens around and didn't want to let niggas know. I mean, we knew. Everybody that pulls up here in sessions with me, I guarantee you, y'all knew the aliens was here. So that means if they know that they exist, that they know that there's a possibility that we might have aliens among us, y'all. That's crazy to think.
Not supposed to be doing that. Well, he made a big mistake. He took it out of classified information. No, I don't have an opinion on it.
So the government is trying to answer the question, do aliens exist? And the answer is, they don't know, but...
Oh, bitch, he just said that, talking about they don't know. Man, shut your ass up.
An effort of transparency, they are giving us all of the material that they are working with as they try to answer that question.
All right.
To you.
Peter, so many questions. The internet has been ablaze about this for a long time. And one of the things that the unidentified anomalous phenomena people want to know is what the government has collected from belief that these things crashed. There was crash retrieval and that we have some sort of evidence. Is there anything in this batch of released files that would answer that question?
There's nothing in this batch, but we've been told that this is about to become a regular thing because there are hundreds of documents and dozens.
Excuse me? O-Face say what? This is about to be a regular thing. So you're saying we're about to regularly see unidentified flying objects. This ain't the motherfucking Jetsons. Y'all gonna need to tell us something, bro. I'm telling you.
Dozens of pieces of media, videos, and photos that are contained on this drive that has just been uploaded to the new website, which is war.gov/UFO. There is nothing like that in this batch, but they are going through and they are working to declassify whatever they can because President Trump told them to. And this is different than...
Now he's saying, If y'all just seen a couple of clips ago, he's saying Obama gave you classified information. Now he's declassifying everything. Watch. All of this is a distraction. What are they distracting us from, y'all?
When he ordered the Kennedy files to be unclassified and just put everything out all at once. It was millions of pages, a huge file. This is going to come out bit by bit as they work through. And you look, we've got some stuff from Apollo 17. We've got some stuff from a couple months ago. There's a ton of material, but they want us to know that they are trying to figure this out. They just don't have an answer about whether or not, about what these crafts are.
They don't have an answer. Yo, I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. Motherfuckers be saying shit without saying it all the time, bro. Go back to what Trump just said. Barack Obama says aliens are real. Well, he shouldn't have gave you that information. It's classified, but he was classified. He shouldn't have given you that information. Well, are aliens real, President Trump? I don't know per se, but he should have given you that. Nah, nigga, use your context clues. He just told.
Peter, what do you think? You're a betting person. Do you think these aliens are friendly? Should we approach them? What do you suggest if we see them?
You hope that they're friendly. I see a lot of people here at the White House, and I think that looks like it might be an alien. And everybody is pretty nice.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
We'll see where they go. So
people are fascinated with this.
Yeah.
Sean just did a podcast about this, the investigation of Bob Lazar, who talks about S4, and so many people are watching it. It's fascinating. But does this pose a national security risk?
It definitely poses a national security risk. You got to think about it. Just walk with me here, right? I might be using my nerd mind, but my stoner mind, but just walk with me here, right? If there have been aliens living among us since we established civilization, they've watched us tear each other apart, backstab each other, watch each other go hungry, and then the internet happened. I'm telling you right now that if the aliens are anything like what I think they are, they looked on the internet, took 5 minutes, and they pulled an Ultron. Oh, all this shit need to go. All this shit need to go. No, they're not going to be motherfucking friendly, because if they were, they'd have picked my ass up and took me away from here a long time ago.
Adversaries, because the concern is revealing military capabilities to our adversaries like China and to Russia.
Well, that's exactly it. We don't know what these things are. But so as a reporter in D.C. in the past 2 years, I've covered the House committee. Remember, they have a UAP committee headed up by Paulina Luna, as well as Congressman Tim Burchett. And both of those two have really been forthcoming in the media in recent weeks, saying that it's going to be shocking. Luna saying that she's seen things that are not human, but she can't explain. It's classified. She can't say it, and so it's only whetted the appetite of people that want to, talk about it. But one thing's
she can't say. They're telling us, because if there was none, it would be a simple answer. Are aliens real? No, that would be a simple answer, right?
For sure, is that with that committee, particularly with whistleblowers, you've had a number of pilots and Navy captains that have seen things and recorded things, and that's the stuff that they want out.
Right. It got to
and fuck space, nigga. Fuck space. Think about all the shit that we don't know that's in the ocean. Yeah. Fuck space, nigga. I saw some shit the other day where it was like a real life mermaid, but the mermaid ain't look like no motherfucking Ariel. That thing looked like the thing that used to be underwater on Hellboy, the talking thing that be underwater. Abe, I think that's his name. That's what the mermaid looked like. I'm telling y'all.
It onto Joe Rogan's podcast because he said, "Oh, that's crazy stuff."
And Brian, don't call them UFOs anymore.
What do they call?
They're UAPs.
Okay, my bad.
Bullshit. They're UAPs. How y'all feeling about that one, man? Trump just released the UFO files, and I think there's more that he's going to release as time goes along. They're trying to hit us with they don't know if aliens exist and all of that. I think it's what old white boy said on Belly. Smells like a bullshit. Yeah, smells like some bullshit to me, man. I hate goddamn rappers. Yeah, but moving right along, y'all tell me in the comments how y'all feeling about that one. On to the next one. Yo, Drew, now we can get to Druski skit, man. Druski skit about black characters in movies being taken over by these British actors to the point where they do the work so well that you can't tell who's who. Let's check it out. This is by way of This is by way of Drazzy Show. Give them a like, comment, and subscribe if you will, and let's check out what he has to say.
You promise you go with me now. Stop talking like that. You ain't going to no big city. Mouse ain't gonna let you. Yeah, I'm going with or without you. Rudy, stop talking like that. Stop. Hey, what are you niggers doing over there? We gotta get out of here. Hey, what are you doing?
And cuts. Fantastic. I need more American slave. Okay.
Like struggle.
Yeah, the struggle.
Sort of like the dialogue, like the back and forth banner.
Absolutely. Yes.
See, this role was sort of a bit cheeky. I got a little bit out of my comfort zone, you know. During the filming of this role in this character, I felt oppressed, like an American slave, like a lot of struggle. I studied the art.
A fantastic turnout on the red carpet tonight. I'm just arriving. We have Samson Dubois at the American Guild Awards.
Samson, you look great tonight. How hard was it for you to
Hold on, my man said his name is Samson Dubois.
change your accent?
As a little boy from Manchester, I think, I struggled a bit with the dialect, right? But to really get into character for this quite astonishing role that I took on, to say the least, I put it all on the line.
All right, 3, 2, 1, action.
I'm telling you, nigga, if you fuck with my shit, I'll kill you, nigga. You'll be fucked up. Fuck. Nigga, family. Nigga, ain't no fucking family in this shit. We not family, nigga. Fuck family.
Hey, cut. That's the one.
That was stunning. Great performance.
Working with a good London boy, and I bother him all the time. I had a call with the director. It was quite quintessential to the role and great character.
Hey, y'all, tell me they don't be like that. These black British actors, tell me they don't be like that in these interviews, bro. You were like, where the fuck did that accent come from? Because I know the very first time I heard Idris Elba talk, now mind you, the first time I seen him, if y'all can remember, he was on The Wire at Stringer Bell, right? Dude sound like he had that whole East Coast, New York, Baltimore accent, you know what I'm saying? You hear Brev talk in his regular voice, he sound like that. That shit fucked me up, man.
Development behind it.
I put this fucking bullet in your head, nigga.
I laugh because I'm penniless and a bit quite surreal.
Samson Dubois. Samson, yo, who's the girl? Who's the girl?
What's your next
Samson
movie?
Dubois.
What's your
Samson
next
Dubois.
movie?
Yo, do you think your British accent gets you all the black roles in America? Samson,
Come on, bro. Are you serious, bro?
do you think you're better than them?
Better than who, bro? Black people.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yo, first of all, his accent is not too bad. You can hear the American in it, but it's not too bad. You know what I'm trying to say? Better than I've heard from most black Americans trying to do the black Brit accent. But yeah, this debate has been lingering for a while. Black Brit actors are going over to Hollywood.
Damson Idris is another one. We saw him, first time we saw him was what? Snowfall, right? Tell me if he don't sound like he from the West Coast in that whole entire show. He does. And then you hear him talking, Brev, bangers and mosh. You know, he talking like that. That shit messed me up, man. Good actors. I'm telling you, America, we got to come together because these British niggas is taking over.
And taking all the black American roles. I had a discussion with a gentleman on my YouTube. The link is in the description. It was a nice, I think, an hour-long conversation. He's a black American.
Wait, hold on. Aaron Pierre is British too? I didn't even know that. This is about to be the new Jon Stewart, the new Black Green Lantern, y'all. Dude here on the left. He British too? I didn't even know that. I don't chase after light-skinned niggas and all that, trying to figure out what the fuck they doing. So I had no idea he was motherfucking British. But this is what I'm saying, y'all. Now, I've seen him in other roles. He has a very, very American accent. He pulling that shit off.
Description, it was a nice, I think, an hour-long conversation. He's a black American actor who felt as if it's true. Black Brits are going over there and taking all the roles. I was saying it's not true. They're just a handful in comparison to the amount of black American actors that are in Hollywood. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think black Brits are really going out there and taking all the jobs?
Let me know what you guys think. Yeah.
Or do you think it's just a handful? Because I'm sure if I was to tell you to name 5, you would struggle to name 5. Or you probably could name just 5. Above that, it might be. I tell you what, actually put a list of the black Brits who are out there killing it. If it's more than 5, I'm mistaken and I'll eat my hat. I will eat my hat and I'm mistaken. But I don't think it's true. I don't think we're going out there and taking on the roles. I think black Brit actors do go to actual acting schools and academies. So it's easier for them to know how to, speak in other dialects. speak in other accents. It's easier for them. And I think because American cinema is a lot more popular than British cinema, it's easier for us to study the actors and study.
I get what he's saying, but like they recycling the same 4 or 5 niggas. That's taking every role, and they British as shit. No problem, because they doing the job.
The Black Americans, because we see so much of them, and you see so little of us. That's the reason why this skit's probably going to do well, because people don't know much about Black Brits. That's the reason why it's probably going to do so well. You know, him saying "brav, brav, brav." That's probably the most they know in terms of our dialect. But we know so much about Black American vernacular. We know so much about the fashion. We know so much about, you know, just their lifestyle. We even know so much about their cities and their towns. That's people.
So when I hear people say shit like Black Americans don't have any culture, you hear how this brother's talking right now? Couldn't be further from the truth, right?
Can name you places. How many places could you name besides London? You know, you said Manchester, Birmingham. How many places else could you mention? You know, did you know there was a Compton in England? The original Compton is in England. Did you know that? Huh? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, man, I find this very interesting. I find it very funny. Druski is a funny guy. I love the way he pushes boundaries with his humor, his comedy. It's amazing. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think Black Brits are going out there and stealing all the Black American acting roles? And what do you think about him taking a slight jab at Damson Idris? Because that character is basically based on Damson Idris. If you look at this picture here, which he posted on his Instagram, and he
Nah, that was supposed to be him going at Damson Idris. That's funny as hell.
Had a Dave song playing in the background. So he's definitely taking shots to the UK, and he's definitely taking shots at Damson Idris. Obviously, in a humorous way. He's not taking he's not taking it seriously. But yeah, let me know what you think about this, man. Are Black Brits going over there and taking all the Black American acting roles? Let me know what you think. And I think it's about time you guys put some respect on the Black Brits. Seriously, you need to start putting some respect on our name, because you got the other guy saying Skit, bop, bop, bop. What's his name?
Okay, so you heard what Breath has said, right? You got a lot of Damson Idris Elba, Aaron Pierre. I just found out he's British. How many Black British actors? Black British actors. Let me see this. Okay. Oh man, hold on. There's a whole slew of them. I mean, John Boyega is British. Buddy that played in Get Out, he's British. Baron Mordo from the MCU, he's British. And these are like heavy hitters I'm talking about, y'all. Buddy that just played Bass Reeves. Duke right here, British. I didn't know. There's a whole squad of Black British actors. These niggas coming over here taking all the jobs. Y'all get, man, I'm saying it. They're coming over here taking all the jobs, man. Salute to the Drazzy show for that one, man. That was pretty fire, you know what I'm talking about. But on to the next one. Tell me how y'all feeling in the comments about that. Do y'all feel like the Black British actors are coming over here and taking all the roles? Y'all just seen, man, it was a whole squad of them. These niggas that I'm about to show y'all right now, they all in the same movies all the time. Think about it. These cats right here, they recycle these niggas. Black British actors, man. But yeah, okay, so let's move right along. We're about to get into the Hantavirus outbreak. Have y'all heard about this? Some folks went on a cruise and they came back with a deadly virus, and it's looking like we might be going on lockdown again. Hold on, let me see this. Okay, so we're gonna go with CBS News on this one. Hold up. Let me get this right here. Hold on, y'all. Okay, here we go. The Hantavirus is by CBS News. This some shit, yo, man. It might be time to mask up again. Check it out.
Tonight, the cruise ship MV Hondius is docked off the West African nation of Cape Verde, officials revoking permission for passengers to disembark. The ship set sail from Argentina more than 4 weeks ago, promising its 150 passengers a journey to several exotic places, culminating in Antarctica. Now, passengers are stuck on the ship. Medical investigators believe 3 passengers have died from the hantavirus. 3 other cases are suspected. Hantavirus is a rare respiratory disease that can kill up to 50% of those infected. It's the same illness that killed actor Gene Hackman's wife last year.
This really is a detective story. So they're going to have to figure out, okay, where was the boat? Where were the people? When could they possibly have been infected with rodent droppings or urine or saliva?
The World Health Organization is helping to...
Rodent droppings, urine, or saliva? Hey, yo, what kind of freaky cruise were they on that they got infected with some shit like that? What is going? You know what? I don't do cruises no more. That's it for that. I was planning on going on this all black cruise or whatever. I was gonna take me and my wife. I'm cool. Y'all niggas is coming back with rat shit disease and all that. I'm cool.
Evacuate passengers that are showing symptoms.
Right now, the World Health Organization is saying there's no big risk to the general public. But of course, you're always going to play it safe. You're going to be as cautious as possible and get as much information as possible.
And Dr. Lepouk says this virus is not like the norovirus, which can rapidly spread on a cruise ship and really wreak havoc. The World Health Organization is working to see if this virus is the strain that can be passed from person to person. Tony.
Tom, thank you very much. And good evening. What began as a cruise...
Oh, man. So how do we feel about that? How do we feel about that? As a matter of fact, should I let this run? Nah. Y'all seen enough. How do we feel about that? Hantavirus. Some folks got on a cruise and was around some rat shit, piss, throw up, something like that, and brought it back on the cruise ship. 3 people are dead from it, and we don't know what else is going on. And they're saying, hold on, wait, because I want to say they let them folks off the fucking boat. Let me find out. You know what? Let's let this rock. I'm gonna go back and share this again. I want to say they let some of them folks off the boat, and they're out now infecting people. I know there's a case of hantavirus here in Georgia right now. It's time to mask back up, y'all. I don't like motherfucking humans no goddamn way. So let's see what Dog got to say. This is CBS News again.
Of a lifetime, a weeks-long luxury journey to the edge of the Southern Ocean has instead turned into a major medical mystery and an international crisis tonight. 3 people are dead, 4 more are ill, and nearly 150 others stranded on board the ship, where they will stay potentially for months until investigators can clear them to get off. For now, medical workers seen here boarding the ship in full protective gear are telling people to stay in their cabins.
They boarded the ship in full protective gear. These are the people that y'all went to go get, and you now have let them back out into creation?
As they zero in on a potential cause, a rare form of the hantavirus believed to have spread person to person on board the ship. Tom Hansen is tracking this story for us. Tom, good evening. So many questions. What are you learning?
Hey there, Tony. Good evening to you. Well, this cruise liner offered passengers a chance to stop at remote, untouched locations, regions where hantavirus is also common in the wildlife. And now the World Health Organization tells CBS News the infections could have possibly started during one of those nature excursions. Tonight, the 3 remaining passengers showing symptoms believed to be linked to the deadly hantavirus are expected to be airlifted off the MV Hondius. The Spanish government says the ship, with 147 passengers on board, could sail to the nearby Canary Islands for a full disinfection.
There are 3 dead, 4 sick, suspected cruise ships virus outbreak. What the
There are no additional symptomatic people on board. That said, the situation is being closely monitored.
New video shows officials from the World Health Organization boarding the ship in PPE, there to monitor for any new cases. Communal spaces otherwise sit empty as passengers enter their 3rd night in quarantine. According to the company managing the cruise, so far 7 passengers have fallen ill. 3 of those passengers have died, and another was hospitalized in South Africa, all of them suspected of having the hantavirus.
All of this is real, by the way. This ain't no AI, nothing like that. It's time to mask up again, y'all. Stop sharing these blunt. Hey, let me. Stop sharing these blunts. Stop these little smoking ciphers, because that shit is back outside. I hope we do get shut down because I don't go nowhere no goddamn way. But I'm gonna tell y'all right now, start masking up again. You see what's going on, right? You see what's going on. Don't say your boy ain't let you know.
Health officials believe the passengers were infected off the ship, which made several stops on islands up the South American coast. Symptoms can take up to a month to show up.
What we are, our working assumption is that it is the.
Hold on, wait. So it can take up to a month for symptoms to show up, but yet they release those folks off the boat. Y'all hearing what you know what I'm saying?
Andes virus. It could not be, but we're assuming that it is until we determined otherwise.
The Andes strain of hantavirus can spread from person to person and is only found in regions of South America. The Dutch cruise liner left Argentina on April 1st and has been moored off the West African island of Cape Verde since Sunday. The virus is most commonly spread through exposure to rodent droppings, but a representative for the World Health Organization.
What kind of whiskey Sierra Papa going ons we got going on? What are you doing that you around rat shit? What part of the nature walk did you say, that doesn't look too appealing, but let me touch it anyway? And as a matter of fact, in order to get sick like this, you have to inhale that stuff. Mask up.
On Cape Verde tells CBS News no rodents have been found on the ship, pointing to traps on board the vessel that appear untouched. Medical experts believe the risks are low for the outbreak to spread.
How big of a concern is this for the global?
Fuck all that. Mask up. Mask up. Start, you know what I'm saying, doing what you got to do now. Because I'm telling y'all, this shit get worse. They going to shut this bitch down again. Don't tell me your boy ain't tell you. I'm telling you. Go ahead and start preparing yourself now. Get all the tree. Start stocking up on your tree. You know what I'm saying? Get some perishables and all that good stuff like that. Don't just go out there like the last time and go and get a bunch of toilet paper and it lead to a bunch of nothing. You understand what I'm saying?
Global community.
The potential to spread beyond an outbreak is very small.
And the voyage to the Canary Islands is expected to take 3 to 4 days. Health officials will decide if further quarantine is necessary. And if that's the case, Tony, a WHO official says the quarantine could last for up to 2 months.
It's a long time. Tom, thank you very much. Good evening. Where did it?
Nah, keep their ass in there. Fuck that. Hold on. Yeah, keep their ass in there. It could take up to a month. That's a long time. I don't give a shit. Keep their ass in there. There are a lot of people who died from that disease that they call COVID. And if they don't get this under control, there's going to be a lot more people dying. What was you doing around rat shit? That's all I want to know. Y'all tell me how y'all feeling about that one in the comments, man. Hantavirus outbreak. We about to get shut down again. Go ahead and prepare yourself. Don't tell me. I'm telling you. Don't tell me your boy ain't tell you. I'm telling you right now. Tell you right now. But okay. On to the next one. On to the next one. We got some Avengers Doomsday news, y'all. As a matter of fact, I think we might have an official plot leak. Do we want to talk about it? Of course we do. And today, this one's going to come from Everything Always. Y'all know I love all the work that they do over there. Hold on. Separate. There we go. All right. All right. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Everything Always, as we're going to check out what might be an actual plot leak for the Avengers Doomsday movie, y'all. Like, this might be official. So if you don't want no spoilers, I suggest you go somewhere. But if you've been rolling with me, y'all already know. Get your bitch ass on. This is spoiler country, Jack. You understand me? This is spoiler country. So we about to check this out. This by Everything Always. Let's get it.
Now we have the text for you guys. It is 4 pages long. We're gonna do what we
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name is Michael Roman, aka All Fires. We are back today with everybody's favorite, something we haven't done in a while, a full anonymous plot leak for Avengers Doomsday. Now, we have the text for you guys. It is 4 pages long. We're going to do what we always do with this type of leak. We're going to issue the normal spoiler warning, read through it in full, try to annotate it wherever we can with what we already know about the film, and of course, debunk anything along the way. We're breaking it down, the latest anonymous plot leak that's been circulating on social media and Reddit over the last 24 hours with a full read through for Avengers Doomsday. But first, if you could quickly grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel. That's all we do. Thanks to everyone who's been subbing lately. And if you haven't already subscribed, I would just kindly invite you to do so. It has become the most important metric on YouTube. It really supports the channel. Plus, it'll enter you for all the giveaways. All you got to do, be a sub, leave a comment. If you want, stick around at the end of the video. We get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so first up, the customary spoiler warning. When we cover this kind of content at the channel, guys, remember to take everything that doesn't come directly from Marvel Studios, yes, even the industry insider stuff, all the way to this anonymous stuff with a grain of salt. That being said, some of the anonymous stuff in the past has ended up becoming true or being right. That being said, only you know if you're susceptible to this kind of thing. If you don't want to stick around.
Hey, Jamie, if you still here, look, I pearled that motherfucker. I pearled that motherfucker. Hold on. You see him? You see him? I pearled that motherfucker. Yeah. Yeah. This shit about to hit.
Around and go into the unknown completely not knowing. Good luck, because you still got over a half a year left. That being said, I'm not mad at you. Now would be the time to leave. Otherwise, let's dive in and read through this new plot leak. We're in a rainy New York. The camera pans up as we see another Earth approaching beneath a red sky. On a bridge, we see Hugh Jackman's Wolverine and Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool. Wolverine seems shaken and is holding a device in his hand, an antimatter bomb. As he goes to plant it into the ground, he catches a scent and suddenly confronted by this Earth's protector, Spider-Man. But not just any Spider-Man, it's Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. He tries to stop Wolverine from planting the device.
Hold on. We're going to run that back at the very top. I want y'all to see something real quick. We have first looks. It's supposed to be what may be our first looks at Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, what his suit is going to look like in Avengers Doomsday. I just want to share this with y'all real quick. Y'all take a look at that. Hold on. Let me get this right. First look at Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man suit in Avengers Doomsday. How are we feeling about this? Okay, so the spider is like black. You got the dark blue. It's skin tight, look like it's like woven fabric. He's got some metal gauntlets on his arms and his hands and all of that. How are we feeling about this suit? Is it fire? Is it trash? How are we feeling? You fucks with it? I think it's kind of fire too, honestly. What the mask is going to look like is what's going to bring everything all the way together, by the way. Cheers. Yeah, when that mask come on, that's what's going to make that whole thing come together. I don't have a problem with this. There's people that don't think this looks good. It's like some metal gauntlets. You said they do anything? Hey, look, if they can make it work, I'm with it. If they can make it work, I am with it. Let me get back to where we was at so that he can continue the story and all of that. All right, let's run this back. So this is an Avengers Doomsday official plot leak so far. Hey, I mean, I'm still going to the movie theaters to see it and hear it.
I kindly invite you to do so. It has become the most important metric on YouTube. It really supports the channel. Plus, it'll enter you for all the giveaways. All you got to do, be a sub, leave a comment. If you want, stick around at the end of the video. We get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so first up, the customary spoiler warning. When we cover this kind of content at the channel, guys, remember to take everything that doesn't come directly from Marvel Studios, yes, even the industry insider stuff, all the way to this anonymous stuff with a grain of salt. That being said, some of the anonymous stuff in the past has ended up becoming true or being right. That being said, only you know if you're susceptible to this kind of thing. If you don't want to stick around and go into the unknown completely not knowing, good luck, because you still got over a half a year left. That being said, I'm not mad at you. Now would be the time to leave. Otherwise, let's dive in and read through this new plot leak. We're in a rainy New York. The camera pans up as we see another Earth approaching beneath a red sky. On a bridge, we see Hugh Jackman's Wolverine and Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool. Wolverine seems shaken and is holding a device in his hand, an antimatter bomb. As he goes to plant it into the ground, he catches a scent and suddenly confronted by this Earth's protector, Spider-Man. But not just any Spider-Man, it's Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. He tries to stop Wolverine from planting the device while Deadpool attempts to interfere with him. An intense fight breaks out. Wolverine doesn't want to hurt Spider-Man, but Spider-Man manages to handle both of them, repeatedly prevents the bomb from being planted by mere centimeters. Eventually, Wolverine succeeds in planting the device. Deadpool opens a portal using a stolen temp pad and tells Wolverine to run because the job is done. At that moment, we cut to Deadpool returning to Xavier's mansion, where an elderly Charles Xavier watches through the window. Filled with remorse as yet another world is destroyed, he sees debris from that planet falling from the sky. We then arrive at Steve Rogers' house. We discover that he's been living peacefully with his wife Peggy Carter and their son James after traveling back in time in Endgame. However, they are surprised by an unusual visitor, Loki. More precisely, it's the Loki from the time period between the first and second seasons of the series. Loki explains to Steve the concept.
Okay, so far, I'm liking what I'm hearing. Even they're going to have to make it sound good with the whole Loki visiting Steve Rogers in that alternate timeline. Between the seasons of Loki, season 1, season 2, they're going to have to do some good writing to make us understand that.
Of the TVA and tells him that, thanks to Steve and the Avengers, he was given a second chance and was able to see what the future would have been. Loki explains that Steve created a timeline that caused a paradox and that this timeline needs to be pruned by the TVA because it should not exist. However, out of gratitude and because he sees that Steve finally got a happy ending, Loki relocates Steve to another universe against Mobius's wishes. He explains that this is exactly what Mobius once did for him before leaving Steve with the TVA device so that they can stay in contact. Steve is now living on Earth 828, the universe of the Fantastic Four. We cut to a baseball game on Earth 828 featuring Reed Richards, Johnny Storm, and Ben Grimm. They receive an intrusion alert from the Baxter building, and when they arrive, they discover a strange figure speaking with Sue Storm and Franklin, Victor Von Doom, Dr. Doom himself. Doom warns them that he has studied the multiverse for years and that an incursion is about to happen. He explains that when the fabric between two realities tears apart, a magnetic attraction forms between the universes, and the primary collision point between them is each other's universe's Earth. Victor explains that their Earth somehow triggered the incursion and that only Reed Richards' intellect can help solve the crisis.
Okay, so what we're saying is Dr. Doom was not there to kidnap Franklin Richards, baby Franklin Richards, like we saw at the end in the post-credit scene for the Fantastic Four First Steps. He was not there to kidnap. He was there to ask for help. Okay, so are we going to see Doom unmasked in this part? I'm not sure, but it would be nice to see. But I think they're going to reveal that like right at the end of the movie. That's going to be like a cliffhanger. He's going to take off his mask and everybody's going to see that he looks like Tony Stark.
We discover that Victor is obsessed with incursions. He knows everything about them. Sue Storm remains suspicious of Victor the entire time, fully aware that the man standing before her rules from a far from diplomatic nation of Latveria. Reed and Victor investigate genetic anomalies across the planet and discover 3 distinctive energy signatures: Steve, Peggy, and James. They eventually track down Steve, now bearded with long hair, who has spent the last decade in this universe and therefore doesn't know the Fantastic Four. I'm not really sure how that line lines up.
Okay, that don't line up. Ain't no way he stayed in that universe. Steve, Peggy, and their son stayed in that universe for 10 years, and they didn't know who the Fantastic Four was. That's bullshit.
At all. I think they probably meant this part of the country. There's been some other turns of phrase in here that are slightly off, which makes me think maybe it's translated. Either way, let's keep going. They explain the situation to Steve, who becomes emotional and agrees to join them in search of a solution. Steve then explains that he used the Infinity Stones to travel back in time, but that the timeline he created was never supposed to exist. He then reveals that it being named Loki, someone he already knew, eventually relocated him because Loki was part of an organization that controlled the timelines. After much research, Reed discovers that there's a universe destroying other universes and says he needs to know how it was done. That's the X-Men universe with Deadpool and Wolverine throwing out antimatter bombs. Obviously, Steve is against the idea, while Reed thinks all possibilities should be considered. Steve then says he knows a place where the technology might be sufficient. Doom explains to them.
On. So that we just gonna speed past how they said the X-Men are basically bad guys. They've been destroying other universes, planting bombs. How we heard in the beginning, Wolverine and Deadpool fighting Spike the Bomb on his universe, like that's not their first time doing that. They've done it to other universes.
That not only will that universe collide with them, but another universe will as well, Steve Rogers' universe, and that somehow the three universes are connected. However, Doom warns them that if they travel from one universe to another, the time in between the incursions decreases drastically, which is why they need to be quick. They all leave with a stopwatch. Steve, the Fantastic Four, and Doom depart for the MCU.
Steve, the Fantastic Four, and Doom get on the same place. So, okay, so now, yeah, you hearing this, right, Jamie? So now the post-credit scene for the Thunderbolts, when they saw that interdimensional rift and the Fantastic Four plane came crashing through the little rift in space and came into the 616 universe, Doom is on that ship. You got to understand this guy is good at manipulating. He's good at manipulating. Even the fact that he's being played by Robert Downey Jr., who looks like Tony Stark, who looks like 616 Tony Stark, it's all a manipulation. The way they have to write this, it got to be so good for it to make sense that Doom looks like Tony. It's got to be so good. I hope the Russo brothers did their thing.
In the Fantastic Four's rocket. Inside the ship are the Fantastic Four, Franklin Richards, Dr. Doom, Steve Rogers, and Herbie. In the New Avengers Tower, the New Avengers detect the Fantastic Four ship entering orbit and heading towards Earth. Upon learning of the ship's supposed threat, Thor anticipates the arrival and greets them. At this moment, we have the first interaction between Thor and Steve Rogers, where Thor is suspicious that this might not be the real Steve, until Steve wields Mjolnir, which belonged to Jane Foster, gaining Thor's trust, and the two embrace in a somewhat sweet reunion moment. At this point, Sam Wilson and the Avengers enter the Avengers Tower, and there's a brief discussion about who should take command of the mission, which they consider crucial for Earth. Sam was preparing for it, as were Yelena and Bucky. Thor appears at the meeting, ascends Avengers Towers with the Fantastic Four, Dr. Doom, Steve Rogers, and delivers a speech that unites the teams. So, the Avengers, led by Sam and Thor, head towards Wakanda in the Fantastic Four ship. Steve says he wants to speak to T'Challa, the king of Wakanda, but is surprised by King M'Baku and his Black Panther Shuri, who already knew about the incursions and were already looking for a solution.
Okay, fire. But bitch, when was you going to tell somebody? You knew something about the incursions and wasn't going to tell nobody? You was just going to figure it out on your own, huh? That's what I be talking about, man.
In this scene, the sky is reddish, and the first place an incursion can already be seen. With everyone gathered in Wakanda, the whole situation is explained, and Shuri says they have help from another army. Then we see Namor sitting on his throne and discover that they are actually under the ocean and that Namor is using the water around them as a plan to flood if there is a threat. Namor enters the scene along with the leaders of each group, and they discover that three Earths are colliding: the MCU, Earth 828, and the universe that is destroying other universes. Steve tells Thor that Loki is alive and is kind of a protector of the multiverse and helped him survive, suggesting it would be good to go to him as he may have a solution. Now, a philosophical debate ensues.
You hear this? Steve says it might be good to pull up on Loki because Loki could help with all this incursion stuff. If they're going to meet Loki, that means they're about to walk Dr. Doom right to Loki, who will then, because he does this all the times in the comics, he goes and steals other people's powers. He's powerful alone by himself. Dr. Doom is if Iron Man went to school with Doctor Strange, learned all that sorcery and magic, and then built the Iron Man suit on top of that. Yeah, that's Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom is Doctor Strange and Iron Man mixed together. He's bad news. He's like one of the greatest villains of all time.
Reed thinks this is a natural process of the multiverse, that the destiny of the multiverse is death, but that they can try to find alternatives and fight to the end. Sam thinks that they should fight and find a way to stop this without bloodshed. Namor is against it and says that if there is a way to destroy other universes coming towards them, that they should do it. And the main target should be the X-Men universe, the universe destroying other universes. Meanwhile, Shuri and Sue are completely suspicious of all the plans and are already working together somewhat secretly. And Dr. Doom remains completely silent, basically agreeing with everything. Sam Wilson says,
You hear this sneaky motherfucking ass out? They're gonna bring them. Dr. Doom has been boiling the pot. He's been cooking and whipping the pot the entire time. Well, you know, I was gonna say we do need to destroy some universes. You know what I'm saying? If we're gonna destroy one, it should be that other universe over there destroying shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, if you wanted to pick one, I mean, I'm not telling you what to do, but that should be where we should go. He stays silent because this is all according to his plan. I like this plot. I got a great imagination. I could imagine how everything looks.
Says that they need to gather the Infinity Stones. Scott Lang says that the quantum realm is no longer an option.
Let me run that back.
Alive and is kind of a protector of the multiverse and helped him survive, suggesting it would be good to go to him as he may have a solution. Now, a philosophical debate ensues. Reed thinks this is a natural process of the multiverse, that the destiny of the multiverse is death, but that they can try to find alternatives and fight to the end. Sam thinks that they should fight and find a way to stop this without bloodshed. Right. Namor is against it and says that if there is a way to destroy other universes coming towards them, that they should do it. And the main target should be the X-Men universe, the universe destroying other universes. Meanwhile, Shuri and Sue are completely suspicious of all the plans and are already working together somewhat secretly. And Dr. Doom remains completely silent, basically agreeing with everything. Sam Wilson says that they need to gather the Infinity Stones. Scott Lang says that the quantum realm is no longer an option and that time travel is now extremely dangerous. Steve says return.
Hold on. So somebody suggested that they gather the Infinity Stones again. What would the Infinity Stones do in this situation as far as closing incursions and preventing them? You know what? The Infinity Stones can make whatever needs to be. But y'all know the price of that, right? Whoever snaps their fingers and makes that, like, right, they're going to die. 1 versus a billion people death, I guess.
Wilson says that they need to gather the Infinity Stones. Scott Lang says that the quantum realm is no longer an option and that time travel is now extremely dangerous. Steve says returning the gems caused a new timeline that needed to be destroyed and that going back in time now would only make things worse and accelerate the incursion. Reed says Galactus was a natural alternative to feed on the Earth, but he doesn't know where he went. However, he has an idea to push the Earths away using the same technology that he would.
Okay, yeah. So in Loki, he found out when they were at the TVA that basically all the different powers of the different universes, they're kind of like null and void inside of the TVA. So the power of the Infinity Stones from whatever universe they may come from, that's why you saw several different Infinity Stones, the same ones, but in different shapes and this, that, and the third. They're powerless. So the workers around there, the TVA workers, were just using them as paperweights. Them Infinity Stones can't do nothing. And they definitely can't do nothing unless they're in their own universe. That's also something you have to remember. The Infinity Stones that you use only work in the universe that they're from. You can't take Infinity Stones to another universe and use them over there. It's not going to work. That was made clear in the What If series. Well, to all other universes. Yeah.
Reed says Galactus was a natural alternative to feed on the Earth, but he doesn't know where he went. However, he has an idea to push the Earths away using the same technology that he would use in the Fantastic Four movie, but this must be done quickly. So with the help of Wakanda and the remaining heroes on Earth, they began building a cannon in the MCU to generate a force that would push away the other planets. But to do this, they would need to go to the other universes and convince their populations to build similar cannons. They need to act as quick as possible. So part of this.
So they got to go over there and talk to Professor X and Magneto and convince them to not only not kill them on sight, but to build this cannon to push their universes apart so that they do not come together and destroy one another. That's what an incursion is. When two universes start colliding because of dimensional rifts, anomalies, things that aren't supposed to be in each other's universes, it makes the two universes start to come together and collide, destroying either one or both of the universes.
This team stays on Earth to build these cannons while the other part heads to the universes and convince their populations to build similar cannons. They need to act as quick as possible, so part of this team stays on Earth to build these cannons while the other part heads to the X-Men universe. Meanwhile, Steve and Thor head towards the TVA using the device Loki left with Steve. We then see our heroes and Doom arriving on the X-Men's Earth. They discover that this universe is catastrophic, already having survived several incursions. They head towards Xavier's mansion when they are surprised. The X-Men are not friendly, and so a battle ensues. According to my sources, quote, this is one of the best scenes in the entire film, featuring some of the duels we saw in the trailer, like Yelena against Mystique and a one-on-one between Shang-Chi and Gambit.
Hold up. So we are about to get the X-Men versus the Avengers. Our OG X-Men, the ones that were in the Fox universe that we grew up with, Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, Halle Berry as Storm, you know what I'm saying? Famke Jensen as Jean Grey, Jane Marsden as Cyclops, Professor X, Sir Patrick Stewart, you know what I'm saying? The old Magneto. We about to get them versus the Avengers. This is about to go down. I don't know if I'm going to be able to contain myself while I'm sitting in that motherfucker, because you got to understand how long we all been watching this shit. Like, we grew up on the X-Men, the original 3 X-Men movies. That was what everybody's live action X-Men was, right? That's how we got our Hugh Jackman Wolverine. When I see this fight, oh man, yeah, I already know I'm coming back to see that in the theaters more than once, more than twice probably.
As well as a remake of the Nightcrawler scene from X-Men 2, but this time in the corridors of Xavier's mansion. During the battle, Deadpool puts his ball. My sources, quote, this is one of the best scenes in the entire film, featuring some of the duels we saw in the trailer, like Yelena against Mystique and a one-on-one between Shang-Chi and Gambit, as well as a remake of the Nightcrawler scene from X-Men 2, but this time in the corridors of Xavier's mansion. During the battle, Deadpool puts his balls, literally his balls, on Mr. Fantastic's face.
Wow.
The fight spirals out of control when Doom revives deactivated Sentinels.
Wait, what? Now, we're not going to act like dude said Deadpool ends up putting his nuts on Mr. Fantastic's face. Nah, hold on. Children are coming to see this. I'm here for it, though. I'm here for it. That's going to be funny as shit.
2, but this time in the corridors of Xavier's mansion. During the battle, Deadpool puts his balls, literally his balls, on Mr. Fantastic's face. The fight spirals out of control when Doom revives deactivated Sentinels and attack the X-Men. Our heroes then wonder how Doom knew about the specific detail of that universe that Sentinels existed that hunted mutants. Magneto confronts the Sentinels while Xavier talks to Reed Richards and takes him to meet Beast. Beast tells Reed Richards that they have already suffered from several.
By the way, that Beast is Kelsey Grammer, the old Beast from the old movie. Yeah, same one.
Several incursions and destroyed other universes using antimatter bombs. They fight to prevent the extinction of the mutant race, since the other universes they faced did not have mutants. They also explain that they have already managed to overcome mutant extinction once using time travel, meaning this universe may be similar to Days of Future Past. They have already experienced mutant destruction and world destruction, so they are fighting in every way possible to survive. Beast adds that their universe has somehow already been mapped and is an easy point for incursions, which is why they keep happening. We cut to Thor and Steve arriving at the TVA, which is completely destroyed. Steve tries to locate Mobius, who no longer works for the TVA.
The TVA, when they arrive, is completely destroyed. That means Doom has already been over there.
Past. They have already experienced mutant destruction and world destruction, so they are fighting in every way possible to survive. Beast adds that their universe has somehow already been mapped and is an easy point for incursions, which is why they keep happening. We cut to Thor and Steve arriving at the TVA, which is completely destroyed. Steve tries to locate Mobius, who no longer works for the TVA. They manage to find him, and he helps them reach Loki, but they arrive too late. Loki is dead, and the timelines are loose and begin to collide uncontrollably.
Loki is dead. We have to watch him die again? Nah, let it be a fake out. Let Loki come back in motherfucking Secret Wars. We need Loki back in Avengers Secret Wars. Oh man, Loki dies again. Thor has to see his brother die again. Oh.
Mobius then investigates what happened, locate Mobius, who no longer works for the TVA. They manage to find him, and he helps them reach Loki, but they arrive too late. Loki is dead, and the timelines are loose and begin to collide uncontrollably. Mobius then investigates what happened and, using his TVA experience, explains to Thor and Steve that a being in a green hood and mask invaded the TVA and destroyed everything and everyone.
Wow.
Before that, during the regrouping in Wakanda, each character went to their own universe. Doom left to prepare for battle, explaining that he needed to upgrade his armor now that they know about the universe that's destroying other universes. Until then, he had been wearing a more neutral suit, but he returned in full armor. It is implied that during this time, Doom executed his plan against Loki. Meanwhile, Doom triggers a war between the X-Men and the Sentinels. While the Avengers and the Fantastic Four try to stop him, Doom claims this is destiny. The X-Men must fall so they can survive. A chaotic war erupts between the X-Men and the Sentinels, with the Avengers assisting the X-Men. Everyone suspects Doom and tries to stop what they believe is fate itself. Thor arrives in the middle of the battle with hatred in his heart and attacks Doom, while Steve reveals the truth to the Avengers, X-Men, and Fantastic Four. Doom is practically invincible. He glows with green eyes, shocking Thor, and defeats nearly everyone before kidnapping Steve and fleeing to his universe.
Damn.
The remaining defeated heroes regroup in Universe 616 at the Avengers Tower, planning a full-scale assault on Doom with an entire army. This time, all heroes unite against him. Thor then calls upon an army sent by Odin, coming directly from Valhalla, warriors who have died and returned to fight. They all say goodbye to their loved ones and depart for the greatest battle of their lives in Universe 828 at Doom's home in Latveria. In Latveria, they are received by the servants of Doom. Among them is Boris, Doom's right-hand man. A masked magician with space for a third eye appears, who is believed to be Doctor Strange. Another figure confronts Steve Rogers, and when she removes her mask, it's none other than Peggy Carter. It's unclear whether this is truly Peggy or a witch manipulating Steve's psyche. In the group, other women display familiar magical signatures, one resembling Clea and the other possibly Wanda Maximoff. Finally, Doom reveals his story. Victor was a researcher from Latveria who used both magic and technology to understand the multiverse. During his travels, he fell in love with a woman from another universe who became his wife and gave him a child. The incursion caused by that woman's presence destroyed everything. However, his research led to an explosion in his laboratory, which killed his family and left him completely disfigured, forcing him to survive in armor like Darth Vader. Doom blames Steve Rogers and Reed Richards for
he has to survive in the armor like Darth Vader. If y'all know anything about Star Wars, this is crazy. I'm locked in. Hold on.
Woman's presence destroyed everything. However, his research led to an explosion in his laboratory, which killed his family and left him completely disfigured, forcing him to survive in armor like Darth Vader. Doom blames Steve Rogers and Reed Richards for experiencing what he never could. His plan was always to allow incursions to happen in order to map all universes, but he only needed one key detail: a way to connect the army that brought Steve Rogers to his Earth. In doing so, he discovers Loki, who is extremely vulnerable. With Loki weakened, Doom believes he can control the future of the multiverse as he sees fit. He explains that he had a plan to steal Loki's powers. In a flashback, we see Doom pulling out Loki's spine, as he did to Thanos in the comics. By absorbing Loki's powers, he could reshape the multiverse and recover his family, free from the threat of incursions. In his vision, all existence would be merged into a single universe ruled by him. The final battle takes place in Latveria as the Earths are about to collide. The heroes fight with no certainty, while Doom humiliates them and waits for the incursion. Using Loki's stolen powers, he manipulates magic and reality itself. His servants resemble a coven of witches and wizards performing a ritual around a glowing book, possibly the Darkhold, though it's never confirmed. At this moment, Sentry appears for the first time. He physically holds back the incursion between the three universes, giving the heroes more time to fight. However, it's not enough, and he eventually collapses, weakened. Despite the delay, the conclusion eventually occurs. A flash engulfs the screen, and when it fades, we see Emperor Doom sitting on the throne of a new universe, one he now rules. Okay, so here's my take on this.
Whoa. So Doom doesn't kill anybody. He just whoops a whole lot of ass and holds everything off until the incursions come together, because he already has the power to manipulate the timelines and put the universes together so that he can manipulate reality as he sees fit, making him God Emperor Doom. And I'm wondering at the end, are we gonna get a all white Doom instead of the green hood? He's gonna have a white hood with the armor. How are we feeling about this? It's a wild plot leak, but we haven't heard anything about how he revealed what his face looks like. Now, I have heard that supposedly we're not going to see the fact that he looks like Tony Stark until Secret Wars, which would be trash. So, yeah, I don't know. Let's see what else you got to say.
Quite honestly, this sounds like a full amalgamation, someone putting together in Streamline all of the plot leaks that we've had so far. And my appraisal of some of these independent plot points has remained the same. I do not see Charles Xavier and the X-Men or the X-Men timeline signing off on destroying other worlds to save their own. That doesn't sound like the X-Men that we know. It doesn't sound like Charles Xavier at all. And while I don't
know. You don't know what people will do when it's them versus you. When it's their family versus your family. You don't know what people will do.
just mentioned that sounds more like Magneto. You have to.
Also, too, we got no mention of the 10 rings, nor Kamala Khan's bangles. We got no mention of the Bloodstone. All these MacGuffins that have been out there. We have no mention of any of them.
To imagine that this is not something they'd be willing to do. Also, it references the opening scene with Tobey Maguire, Wolverine, and Deadpool that industry insiders have said basically isn't real, or at least some of them have hinted there is so much at the beginning of the film. They then go on to reference Beast, acknowledging that they're just trying to save mutants. But what's really funny is he does the exact opposite, and the time runs out lead up to Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars run. He basically is confronted by the idea of doing this and then is shocked he even thought of it and rejects it. So I don't think that there's an actual...
Hold on, you can't really say that because the MCU is known to go and take ideas from the comics and put their own little twist on it. Their own little Disney Marvel bullshit twist on it.
Through line here with what we know of the X-Men. And more to the point, more and more details are coming out about scenes from this film that aren't to be found in any of these plot leaks that really don't line up with some of the story we're being fed. So what I would treat this as is basically the latest update, maybe even fed through ChatGPT, that basically puts together all of the plot leaks that are out there, what we know of the HD frames from the trailer that's not been released yet, and tries to line it all up logically.
Hold on, you talking about a trailer ain't been released yet? I mean, I do know of, and I was going to make a video on it anyway. I mean, I do know of a concept video, AI version that someone put together because they saw the trailer and they went beat for beat in the AI of what they saw. Matter of fact, let's see if I can find that. Let me see if I can find that. Let me see. We can take a look at that and then get on to the boys. Okay. Matter of fact, check this out, y'all. Mind you, this is an AI concept of somebody that actually has seen the trailer. They just put their own little AI together as to what they saw, as close as we can get it.
They sacrificed to me for nothing. It's really not stands, All right, somebody said that is the concept. That is basically what the trailer looks like. They just put it in AI and got as close as we can get it.
Did y'all see how Thor was 1v1 in Doctor Doom? Crazy, man. Crazy, man. But y'all tell me in the comments how y'all feeling about that plot leak and all of that, man. Are y'all liking what y'all hearing so far? Will you have asses in seats to check out the movie? I surely will. All right. On to the next one. On to the last one, as a matter of fact. We have the latest episode of The Boys season 5, the final episode. There are 2 episodes left. It is now all coming to a head. And this will be by way of Screen Crush. Y'all light y'all last little blunts, man. You know what I'm saying? We're going to glide this thing on out. Y'all get them a like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get to it.
Homelander just became the most powerful being on the planet, and there is only one way left to stop him. Hey, welcome back to Screen Crush. I'm Colton Ogburn, and these are all the Easter eggs, references, and little things you might have missed in The Boys Season 5, Episode 6. So, this episode opens with the return of the Legend, portrayed, of course, by Paul Reiser, who you may recognize from Stranger Things, or, if you're really cool, Mad About You.
Where'd I go? You suck me.
That's where I know him from. That's how old I am. I know him from Mad About You.
How am I sucking?
So the Legend used to have Madeline Stillwell's old job as the senior vice president of Hero Management. Stan Edgar and Stillwell eventually pushed him out, as he mentions later in the episode.
They all got shoved out. All of them. And I know what I'm talking about. I did the shoving.
Back in season 3, we saw the boys pay a visit to the Legend in their pursuit of Soldier Boy.
Why was Soldier Boy here? Came to pick up his super suit.
So we see that the Legend is in hiding and working at a...
All that reminds me of is, where's my super suit? Where is my super suit?
Vought movie theater under the name Chet Vanderbilt. The song playing is Ain't That a Kick in the Head by Dean Martin. Now, this song was used in the 1960s Ocean's 11, which is fitting for the heist mission that the boys need to pull in this episode. It's also a very Hollywood song, which highlights Legend's showbiz attitude towards everything. Now, this exact attitude is what saves him later, and it's why his undercover persona is still a movie theater employee. He's a Hollywood legend, if you will. Now, here you can see a Deep standee in the back, and there's a poster of all the Vought heroes. Some that we were able to spot are Crimson Countess, The Deep, Oh Father, Black Noir, Homelander, Firecracker, Sister Sage, and A-Train. When M approaches, Legend mentions The Deep popcorn bucket, themed popcorn buckets being a big trend right now, especially like a year or two ago when this season was written and filmed. Now, Deep's bucket is a...
That bucket is salacious. Why is his mouth open like this? Come on, man. And I know you were sitting up there like, why are you thinking about that? But if you watch this show, you know that whoever wrote that and made that into a bucket, they was thinking like that. You guys are disgusting.
Parody of the Deadpool and Wolverine popcorn bucket, and of course this Jaws bucket. Now, the Jaws connection is obvious, Sea Life, etc., but the Wolverine one is deep, pun fully intended. Right. So the Dune popcorn bucket looked like a fleshlight, and if you don't know what that is...
That is freaky, bro. What the fuck? That is freaky.
Is open an incognito window and Google it. That is, if you're, you shouldn't be watching this if you're under 18. So I don't want to hear any comments. Now, the Deadpool and Wolverine popcorn bucket of Wolverine with his mouth wide open is meant to parody the foulness that was seen in the Dune popcorn bucket by having Wolverine looking like he's gobbling up some popcorn, so to speak. So on a serious note,
with the way motherfuckers is 3D printing all sorts of nasty shit, bro, I wouldn't be surprised.
After what Deep did to Starlight back in season 1, which was a very serious crime that should have landed Deep in prison and hopefully eventually will, I'd be remiss if we didn't point out the irony of his face now being portrayed on this bucket gobbling popcorn. Now, next we get this parody of the Nicole Kidman AMC ad, but with Firecracker, and she is even watching her own movie, which we saw a glimpse of in the previous season. Legend mentions Homelander's Purge, which could be a reference to how Homelander is rounding up all of those who refuse to bend the knee to him, but it could also be in reference to Homelander's kill order at Vought last season when the remaining 7 members started killing every human.
We're not going to act like the Deep didn't just do that. He punched through that guy's head. You forget he's a superhero and he has that type of strength.
in the building. And it seems like they also targeted certain ex-Vought employees who had dirt on them like Legend. So Legend says that MM is starting to sound a lot like Butcher. Now this season we have seen MM acting more and more unlike himself, and instead of pushing back against Butcher, he is starting to find himself aligned with Butcher more often. So it's a nice touch that the Legend noticed this.
Well, my thing is Mother's Milk has this whole revenge arc that he's going through. He's got to spin back for his family. That's how he feels. So much to the point where he knows that he can't act soft when it comes time to do whatever they might need to do, even if it means giving his life. That's why he sent his family away.
Unlike himself, and instead of pushing back against Butcher, he is starting to find himself aligned with Butcher more often, so it's a nice touch that the Legend noticed this. Now, when he says to MM that he is acting a lot like Butcher, MM just stares at him in silence, a very Butcher thing to do.
Hey, you're not doing the thing anymore.
Ah, buddy, you noticed. Well, I'm sure you guys did as well. When you're watching our videos, you've probably seen me have this nervous tick.
Oh, yeah, don't get paid for that. Let's go right here.
Today. Now, back to what I was saying. So back at Vought, we learned that Sage is on her 35th trial of replicating the V1 formula per Homelander's request, meaning
the smartest person in the world. That's her superpower, being the smartest person in the world. She has been secretly taking test subjects, 35 to be exact so far, and trying to create the new compound V.
On her 35th trial of replicating the V1 formula per Homelander's request, meaning that they have done this to 35 inmates thus far, those who have been locked up in the freedom camps. So in comes the Deep, who learns that Firecracker has been killed by Homelander, yet another member of the Seven to die at the hands of their tiered leader. In fact, Deep is the only one left standing from that original lineup going back to season 1. And you have to wonder if Deep is finally beginning to realize that if even a super dedicated Homelander worshiper like Firecracker isn't safe, then maybe Deep isn't either. Then
again, I just had this conversation with some folks, man. What he'll do to one person, if you'll do that to that person who is loyal and devoted to you, you'll take them out. What will you do to me?
Again, Deep is extremely fucking stupid, so probably not. Now, Homelander says,
we just don't have any more room in the boat for non-believers.
Which could be a Noah's Ark reference where God purged all of humanity and only spared Noah and his family. Now, Sage then gives Deep his mission, but Deep at first assumes that he is supposed to kill the protesters because that's Homelander's way of doing things, but Sage immediately shoots the idea down and says that no, we need you to do a media PSA.
Isn't oil bad for the environment? No.
So we're seeing Deep continue to betray his own people, just like when Homelander forced him to eat that octopus. He's betraying the very sea life of which...
Oh, him eating that octopus was so nasty. And this part too, when they poured all that oil in the sea life, and he actually got caught in it, the Deep was real messed up.
She is supposedly the king of, all to serve his new king, Homelander. Like Firecracker betrayed her church, Deep continues to betray his. So Homelander gives Sage this backhanded compliment.
There's no way Frederick Vought is smarter than you.
Which sounds nice, but I think it's also Homelander letting Sage know that he might be onto her.
That's exactly what he's letting her know. That's literally her superpower. She's the smartest person in the world.
Knows that Sage can crack the V1 because she is the smartest person alive, and that she might just be holding out on him and trying to buy herself some time. Now, I'm not sure that Homelander has fully reached the point of thinking that she is purposely not developing the V1, but the more and more times that she fails to deliver it, I think Homelander would become more and more suspicious. Now, back over with the boys, we see that Huey and Frenchie are also trying to buy some time. The virus is ready, and the plan is now in motion to plant the virus at the church where Homelander will be preaching. Butcher wants the virus planted now, and Kimiko and Starlight are seemingly in agreement.
Yo, the fact that Butcher is just so gung-ho on planting the fucking device without any thought for his friends, that is just more and more telling me that they're going to have to be the ones to take him out.
Two members of the boys that won't be affected by the soup pandemic. They are wanting more time to find V1 so that Kimiko and Starlight can be spared from the virus. We then see MM and the Legend enter the room, and Legend says to Starlight,
"You remind me of a young Ursula Andress."
A popular actress from the 1960s who was the very first Bond girl. Now, I'm sure Paul over at Heavy Spoilers, he'll have a dedicated 20 minutes to this little mention in his video, but we're going to move on. Now, here you'll also notice that Huey,
she does look like that old Bond actress, though. She really does.
He is, of course, wearing a Billy Joel shirt, as he tends to do, Billy Joel being his third favorite musician. Legend mentions Golden Geisha.
You got to go through his lady, Golden Geisha.
And he actually mentioned her the last time we saw him in season 3, episode 5.
I was balls deep in Golden Geisha, and Marlon Brando was apparently balls deep in me.
Next, we learn about Vought Villages, a retirement home owned by Vought for elderly soups.
Y'all see the little milkshake flying? That was like an invisible soup.
In Golden Geisha, and Marlon Brando was apparently balls deep in me.
Next, we learn about Vought Villages, a retirement home owned by Vought for elderly soups.
She moved into the villages.
Vought Villages.
Mm-hmm.
It's a retirement home for soups.
Now, over at Vought Tower, we see VP Ashley talking with Sage about betraying Homelander.
Reading Homelander or Soldier Boy's minds? If I wanted to commit suicide, I'd asphyxiate myself.
We then see Sage use chloroform to make Front Ashley pass out. And look, contrary to popular belief, I don't know much about how chloroform works. But had you asked me if it would also knock out Back Ashley, considering they like share a fucking head, I would.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Y'all look at this nasty shit, man. Hold on. The back of her head, she got a dose of Compound V last season, right? And it caused all her hair to fall out, which is why she wears that wig. And it gave her superpowers, but her superpowers gave her this like tumor-like thing on the back of her head that's basically her inside voice. And that inside voice has the power to read other people's minds. So that's her superpower. Her and the tumor-like head thing talk to each other. So it's nasty.
Considering they like share a fucking head, I would have guessed yes, but only Front Ashley is knocked out. And I guess that makes sense because the two do seem to have separate minds, and whatever the barrier is that keeps Front Ashley from being able to read minds, but Back Ashley can also relay that information over to Front Ashley's mind without having to speak. There's some kind of barrier there that must explain how Back Ashley was able to stay awake, and then we even see her able to control the body of Ashley. Now, throughout this episode, we see a lot of, well, Vought history in terms of their culturally insensitive and outright.
Yeah, ain't no Vought history. Vought is a bunch of Nazis. They're some Nazis. And that's all you see through this whole little montage. Nazis.
Racist past, such as giving Goldie the name Golden Geisha, Geisha being a Japanese female performing artist, which, I mean, yeah, that's exactly what she was to Vought. We've also got this white guy who played a Native American hero called Engine. I also love this line from Legend where he says that he doesn't like to kiss and
that's racist as hell. My man's name was what? Hold on.
Native American hero called Engine. I also love this
Engine number 9. Jesus Christ, that's racist.
Line from Legend where he says that he doesn't like to kiss and tell, yet almost every sentence out of dude's mouth is him sharing details of a sexual encounter.
I shoved my grogger up her Hamilton. She pissed on me once. Got me in the Mile High Club. That triple.
Bro, I didn't realize how freaky this old ass man was in this episode. He was saying little crazy shit back to back.
Banger we had in Marsha Mason's triple banger.
So we see the boys at the retirement village, and they are wanting to get the help of Goldie to lure Bombsight, another hero from back in Soldier Boy's day, who, like Soldier Boy in Stormfront, was injected with V1 and is immortal, as well as immune to the virus. And he will, of course, be a part of the new spin-off series, Vought Origins Wolverine, whatever it's called.
Vought Rising.
It's called Vought Rising, man. This will be a prequel to the original Boys series, so it takes place before the Boys, before Gen V. By the way, they're now canceled. Before Gen V, before all that, this is what led to the first soups coming out as, you know what I'm saying, government operatives and all that. So I'm going to be watching that show. They're going to bring back Jensen Ackles as Soldier Boy and all those old characters you just saw.
Thanks, buddy. Anyway, Goldie and Bombsight, they were a thing back in the day, and he's been holding on to this dose of V1, hoping that one day she'd take it so he doesn't have to watch her die, and so that they can live an eternity together, very much like a vampire turning their significant other into a vampire for the same reason. Kimiko even makes this exact comparison a little later in the episode.
Neither of us wants to die, but I don't want to be vampires either.
Now, when Legend is talking to Goldie, he says,
"You and Bombsight were tighter than Woody and me before Soon-Yi,"
which is referring to Woody Allen, a filmmaker closely tied to the Epstein files, and his wife, who was the adopted daughter of Allen's then partner, Mia Farrow.
Whoa, all of this is nasty. Yo, The Boys is disgusting.
Relationship was massively controversial, still is, and they're still married to this day. Anyway, Goldie, she's not interested in helping them find Bombsight, so Butcher devises a plan to kidnap her and lure Bombsight. And we even hear Butcher say this about the elderly Soups and how they'll be dead in a few days anyway.
They aren't people, are they?
Butcher saying that they aren't people is very season 1 and part of season 2 Butcher, who has zero tolerance for any Soup, period. He views Soups as inhuman, the same way Homelander views humans like little ants. Now,
so basically, Butcher is what Baron Zemo would be if he had like some true followers or whatever. Baron Zemo in the MCU, he's a dude that doesn't like superhumans. He doesn't think that they should exist. They cause more trouble than they help. So Butcher is a grittier version. Well, no, he's the street version of that.
Butcher's intolerance for Soups has become just as distasteful as the intolerance we've seen various villains in the series espouse upon other groups. Butcher also says that they aren't people right in front of Kimiko. And really, what this is showing is that Butcher is still being affected greatly by his super cancer. He's hot, then he's cold. He's yes, then he's no. In and out, up and down. You get it. Katy Perry explained it.
Nah, we ain't gonna act like we ain't just see all them tentacles out of Butcher, bro. Hold on. I want to go back.
This about the elderly Soups and how they'll be dead in a few days anyway.
They aren't people, are they?
Butcher saying that they aren't people is very season 1 and part of season 2 Butcher, who has zero tolerance for any Soup, period. He views Soups as inhuman, the same way Homelander views humans like little ants. Now, Butcher's intolerance for Soups has become just as distasteful as the intolerance we've seen various villains in the series espouse upon other groups. Butcher also says that they aren't people right in front of Kimiko. And really, what this is showing is that Butcher is still being affected greatly by his super cancer.
Yeah. If this is what having superpowers is, trash. I don't want nothing like this. What the fuck is this, man? Ew. If you pulled up on me and told me you was a superhero and I was robbing a bank and you pulled up and I knew that was your power, you got it. I'm cool. I don't want nothing. I'm dropping the bag right there. I'm cool. I don't want nothing.
He's hot, then he's cold.
Just don't touch me with them motherfuckers.
He's yes, then he's no. In and out, up and down. You get it. Katy Perry explained it. So 1 second, he's being kind and saying how Kimiko and Starlight can have the V1 if they find it before destroying what's left. But then on the other hand, he acts as if all Soups, including himself and his friends and Ryan, are all just subhuman and gotta go. We see him jump between these two sides of his personality, and I really hope that if Butcher does survive this final season of The Boys, and if they have any plans for his character in the future,
I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening.
Future for some other kind of show. I hope that he has that cancer removed and maybe Soldier Boy can just blast it right out of his body, as we see he does fully have the ability to do come the end of this episode. Now, when MM sides with Butcher, Legend says,
"What has happened to you, kid?"
Now, remember, Legend had a soft spot for MM back in season 3 because it was Legend who covered up MM's grandfather being murdered by Soldier Boy. Now, Legend initially told the crew to fuck off, but he relented because he felt like he owed MM. In the present, that old MM, like we mentioned earlier, he is almost nowhere to be seen. We've seen him go through a lot of changes over the years, and after his time in the Freedom Camp, he's changed a lot. Next, we get the Deep's Vought Petroleum ad. The background shows a bunch of cardboard fish using a gas station underwater. The absolute absurdity of a gas station.
That did remind you of a whole SpongeBob SquarePants episode. It did. Hold on.
Next, we get the Deep's Vought Petroleum ad. The background shows a bunch of cardboard fish using a gas station underwater. The absolute absurdity of a gas station underwater basically sums up how much Vought has twisted the public's consumption of media. Deep also calls the gas patriotic, which further drives home this America First rebranding that
this is so nasty and racist. They really turned up the racism on season 5 of The Boys, boy. I'm telling you.
Vought is trying to peddle for Homelander. What's patriotic about gas? Nothing.
Absolutely.
And then this one really got me. Deep says that his fish friends cannot wait to build their homes on the pipeline, which will bring low-income housing for our most vulnerable fish communities. And you can see one of the hashtags in the Deep's post is Make America Super Again, which is a hashtag that we saw Homelander peddle in the previous season.
Yo, I'm gonna tell y'all something, right? My prediction, my early prediction as to how they gonna beat this motherfucker right here, right? Even with, you don't kill Homelander. You understand what I'm saying? You don't kill Homelander. You make him the thing that he does not want to be most. You make him human. I believe his dad, Soldier Boy, is going to blast him and take away his powers, and he's going to leave him as a human. That shit going to fuck him up because he already socially awkward. Now, you don't got no power. What you going to do now?
And
we will make America super again.
And is, of course, a parody of the Make America Great Again slogan of Donald Trump. Now, Huey and Annie, they have a cute moment looking at the clouds, seeing penises, and we hear Huey do a pretty good Simon Pegg impression when talking about his dad.
You know, son, life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react.
So back at
I mean, nah, that is some truth, though. 10% what happens to you and 90% of how you react. That's what life is.
Ashley, she is on board with helping Sage stop Homelander and release the Godolkin virus in hopes of causing World War III so that she can just go chill in her bunker for the rest of eternity. But what I'm not really getting is, couldn't Sage just do that anyway without committing mass genocide? Well, probably not, because there's no universe where Homelander would just let her go live her life in solitude. So
that's a fact. Sister Sage being out on the loose would be the biggest threat to Homelander.
So she has to kill Homelander, and that means causing this pandemic. So anyway, Sage summons Soldier Boy to her office so that she can mention V1 to him and get back Ashley, who is hiding in the back, to read his mind and figure out what's really happening with the search for V1. Soldier Boy lies and says that they're nowhere near finding V1, and we also learn that Soldier Boy, in his own weird way that not even he fully understands, is proud of his son.
He's kind of
yeah, see, all of this is weird because the whole entire season he been telling Homelander, his son, that he don't fuck with him like that and all that. That shit is funny as hell to me.
proud of him, but he doesn't want him to know that he's proud of him.
Next, we see Sage has her Queen Maeve themed planning book that she kept last season for her master planning. Over with the boys, they have infiltrated the retirement home to capture Goldie, and in the process, they encounter some elderly soups who are standing in their way. This one has long super nuts, and I cannot wait to see how we censor that here on the show.
Bro, why every time some sort of genital type motherfucking soup comes up, the black man is always the one fighting him, man. I hate it, bro. What is with all of this rigmarole?
Let's not get too nutty around here. Pardon the expression.
Butcher says,
"This one's for you, Em. Fuck you."
A reference to the long-running rivalry between MM and Love Sausage, who MM finally defeated in the premiere episode of this season.
Yeah, that shit crazy. He wrapped your man's own Joan around his neck and stabbed him. That's a crazy ass power. That's nasty. Salute the Max Packs on YouTube, man.
Homelander and Soldier Boy are continuing their pursuit for V1, and they find this laptop planted by Sage in her new plan to turn the two against one another. On the laptop is a video of Homelander having sex with Stormfront after what happened to her in Season 2's finale.
He had sex with her like this, though. Yo, Homelander is a sick individual. I mean, like, I've been knew that, but I got reminded that he did it this way. Disgusting.
She got charred by Ryan. We can even hear in the video her speaking in German like she was doing in Season 3 when her mind would wander. Homelander is quick to tell Soldier Boy that it was Ryan who did that to her and that he loved her and didn't know how to let her go. And it is this shared love for that fucking Nazi that brought this father and son together. Plus, I think she's Homelander's mom and none of them include.
If we find out in a twist that that was Homelander's mom, he got his mom killed, and then nasty. He's even more twisted than I thought. If we find out this lady Stormfront is actually his mom and he clapped her cheeks, that's gonna mess him up.
Her even know that, except for maybe Soldier Boy, who I don't think knows it, but he is beginning to suspect it. We'll talk about that later. Anyway, back over with Huey and Starlight. They have broken into the Democratic Church of America, which is now sporting this American flag cross, which is
what?
Know that, except for maybe Soldier Boy, who I don't think knows it, but he is beginning to suspect it. We'll talk about that later. Anyway, back over with Huey and Starlight. They have broken into the Democratic Church of America, which is now sporting this.
That's crazy.
American flag cross, which is ironic because this violates the flag code and it's totally disrespectful of their boy Jesus, but they don't really care because they're moving toward full Homelander worship and this merging of their perverted view of Christianity and patriotism to now create this bizarre.
Do you see this? The Homelander Bible? What the hell? I might get a replica of that motherfucker just to put in my collection of like shit from these shows and all of that. But that's the Homelander Bible. What?
Our Christian nationalism fueled by an ideology that isn't very Christian or very patriotic and is really just all about one man. And this is yet another parallel being drawn between Homelander and President Trump's cult followings. Now here we see all these.
He said it, not me.
Pictures of Soups with psychic powers, and you'll notice several are.
Yo, Retro, what's going on, my boy? Salute.
Bald like.
Thank you for joining the sesh, my boy.
Professor Xavier from the X-Men, who is also a telepath. Starlight says,
What the f does Homelander want with all of that?
And I'm thinking that Homelander may soon realize that the traditional ways of brainwashing via the media aren't going to be enough to convince the world that he is God. So
I'm great, my brother. We over here just on a good Friday, having a good sesh, man. You know what I'm saying? Recapping if you're just tuning in. Of course, we're recapping The Boys Season 5, Episode 6. All the little Easter eggs you may have missed. If you haven't, the show is on its last 2 episodes. You have time to binge and catch up and watch the entire show without stopping. Salute. How are you?
They may turn to straight up brainwashing. There's also this picture of Kate from Gen V, who also has mind control powers, and up until season 2 of Gen V was actually Team Vought and Team Homelander. Now, Huey and Starlight then come across Firecracker's body, and Annie is surprised how saddened she is that Firecracker is dead.
She's a human being.
So Father then finds Annie at the church. We learn that the two actually knew each other from their Bible camp days. Annie says that he was better than Ezekiel, the stretchy guy from season 1, and she also mentions Alex, referring to Supersonic, Annie's childhood friend who popped up in season 3. So here we see that Father.
This dude is a weirdo. He's supposed to be like a super powered human that's like super Christian, and immediately flipped because of money. Immediately flipped to talk about Homelander's God. This dude is crazy. My man said chillin', just came in doing a vlog now about the munch out. Hey, do that, my boy. Keep smoking, but you know I'm talking about.
Father once truly believed in God, but his faith has been shaken and corrupted, and he has turned his back on that faith, and he's now embraced Homelander as his new God. He knows Homelander isn't actually God, but Father and his corruption over the years in the megachurch pastor game has led to him being more comfortable with a God like Homelander than the one in the good book. And the parallel that the writers are trying to draw here is how many
My man is always playing some weird roles. But he's definitely playing how these pastors be rocking nowadays in these churches, bro. Y'all be ready to praise whatever the highest form of power is. You know what I'm saying? Material power. Nasty word.
Scribed, devout evangelical Christians have turned their backs on the teachings of Jesus and replaced the role of God in their lives with a new deity in Donald Trump. So we then see the Deep getting what he deserves for betraying his people, or, well, his fish.
We know it was you.
Black Noir 2 mocks the Deep and admits to being the cause of the oil spill. Deep even goes as far.
Well, hold on. Did the fish tell him we know it was you? Hold up.
In their lives with a new deity in Donald Trump. So we then see the Deep getting what he deserves for betraying his people, or, well, his fish.
We know it was you.
Black Noir 2 mocks the Deep and admits to being the cause of the oil spill. Deep even goes as far as to call it a fish holocaust. Now, this scene demonstrates how fighting fire with fire is always just going to burn both sides. The Deep and Black Noir just kept escalating their payback, and it gets Black Noir killed and pushes Deep to becoming even more like Homelander, killing a friend, a Black Noir specifically. Homelander then visits Legend at the movie theater, and he kills this poor bastard. Now, behind Homelander, you can see a standee for a Homelander movie in the same style as James Gunn's Superman. Back with the other.
Bro, that shit's so fucking nasty, man. But I do love how every time you see a death on the boys, it's never short of any sort of gore. I fucks with it.
Boys, we see Sage confirm her face turn.
Villain switches sides in the final hour. What a twist.
Bombside arrives and Butcher requests a chin wag, just like in this scene from season 4 with Firecracker, God rest her soul.
We just want a little chin wag, so.
Talk American?
Now, when Legend and Homelander enter the boys' hideout, we see the One Piece Jolly Roger logo that we mentioned in our episode 1 and 2 breakdown. Now, we should also mention that, like some of you said in our comments, that the Straw Hat skull does indeed represent the Straw Hat Pirates from the anime, but this symbol has also become a symbol of rebellion in the real world. Now, when Homelander...
Oh, that's fire. So they took the One Piece symbol and used that as rebellion in their universe against Supes. That's a resistance like logo. Fire.
And Legend get to the boys' hideout, they find a Taco Bell receipt left behind by Sage just to toy with Homelander, and we hear Homelander start praying and pleading, but not to God, seemingly to Madeline Stillwell. We even hear him say how he gave up his boy. And look, Homelander is, as Legend says,
a fucking whack job.
But we have to remember that there is a small part of Homelander that was actually like kind of kind to Ryan and just wanted to be loved. And the reason that Homelander...
Some sicko that's searching for love, you especially want it from your children, and you find a situation where either your children don't love you, now that'll really mess you up.
Is such a fucking madman is because Vought tortured him like a lab rat his entire childhood. And then he continued to be manipulated by Vought and Stillwell, even as an adult. And again, I hate Homelander, but I did really enjoy seeing Legend treat him normal and not acting scared of him because he had already...
Yeah, that's a fact. Salute to my man that plays the Legend. His character definitely was not shook at Homelander at all. He was treating him like a normal person. And maybe that's what Homelander is searching for at the end of the day, for people to just treat him normal.
Accepted that he was going to die. He wasn't going to leave that room alive. But Legend actually ends up surviving this encounter because he was just being real with Homelander. Now compare this to Firecracker's death in the previous episode, where Firecracker tried to empathize and coddle Homelander, and that ended up getting her killed, while Legend, on the other hand, just treated Homelander like a person. And we have seen, Homelander get mad in the past when he realizes that he is surrounded by sycophants.
Surrounded by sycophants and fucking imbeciles.
Despite that treatment being something that he has brought upon himself. But Homelander, he has a respect and an appreciation for Butcher, I think, because Butcher isn't scared of him. We even kind of get a taste of that in episode 1 of this season.
You are the only one that's ever challenged me.
And I think that same respect is seen here with Legend, and that's why Homelander lets him leave. So before that, Legend lets slip that Goldie has essentially Vought's version of a life alert necklace.
And next, she's shilling for Vought alert necklaces and
Homelander.
Bro, we got 2 episodes left before it's the series finale. Give me some theories on who y'all think is up out of here. Is everybody dead? How do y'all think The Boys season 5, the series finale, is going to end?
Says,
Aisha sells Vought alert necklaces.
To which Legend replies,
Guess you don't watch your own news channel?
And this is comparing VOT News to Fox News, whose age demographic leans heavily elderly. So Homelander is about to get the location of Goldie. So we cut back over to that scene where we see Bombsight and the boys going at it. Then
oh shit, Bombsight can fly?
Soldier Boy arrives and we get this great exchange.
You know how long I've wanted to smash in that pretty face?
Buddy, the queen sat on this face.
Now, when Bombsight...
Yeah, I can't wait till they bring him back in VOT Rising. That shit gonna be funny.
It takes off with Soldier Boy and they land in this field. We get this great line.
God damn it, I hate flying.
A callback to episode 4.
We could still fly the rest of the way.
I told you, you're not fucking carrying me.
So Soldier Boy gets Bombsight in a headlock and he is about to snap his neck when Bombsight taps out and pleads for him to stop. And he even calls him by his real name, Ben.
Ben, stop!
Now, Soldier Boy letting up and having this heart-to-heart with Bombsight is all teasing, of course, the upcoming show VOT Rising. Soldier Boy then offers to do what we have all long assumed he could do, which is blast Bombsight and burn the V right out of his blood, taking away his powers and his immortality. So Soldier Boy, he blasts Bombsight in exchange for the V1, and I have to admit, I was a little underwhelmed by how Bombsight looked after being blasted. I assumed his clothes would be charred off and like his hair would be gone. But I guess
maybe Soldier Boy knows how to control that little power he has now. Maybe he knows how to control it, how to, you know what I'm saying, figure out what level not to cook motherfuckers.
Soldier Boy can like target the energy to hit beyond the skin and like char the actual blood instead. I don't know. Anyway, he blasts him and takes away his powers. And this confirms for me that this is the one way that they can still defeat Homelander, Soldier Boy. And I say that because of what happens next. Homelander arrives and his dad gives him the V1. Now, before this happens, Soldier Boy says that Clara told him this.
You know, Clara used to say the craziest shit. That I was the strongest soup alive. The ultimate expression of what we could be.
And this is the same thing that she told Homelander here.
I think that you are the best of us. I think that you are everything we should be.
And this exchange really has me thinking that Soldier Boy has pieced together that the same way that his semen was used to create Homelander, that maybe Stormfront's eggs were also used to create Homelander. And
wow, that would explain why he would just give him the V and why he did say the Clara thing. Oh,
the person who carried Homelander that he lasered open when he was born, she was just a surrogate. And that Homelander is the only remaining piece of Clara that exists. And I think that is why Soldier Boy finds himself caring for Homelander, not because they both had sex with the same woman, but because he thinks Homelander is theirs. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Homelander and Stormfront had sex. Yes, it's disgusting. I don't want to talk about it. Now, I also like this nice touch of Homelander lasering his arm open so that he could give himself the V1. So yeah, Homelander, he got the V1. And Sage, who earlier said that people are predictable,
this was the one time she fucked up. She done predicted everything that was supposed to happen in this show, and this was the one time she fucked up. She didn't think that Soldier Boy would give Homelander the V1.
Is caught very much off guard. Well, people are indeed predictable. Our own Ethan Ing pointed out that love makes people do unpredictable things, and Soldier Boy, he loved Clara, and in a weird way, he may love his son. So there's our breakdown for episode 6 of The Boys. I want to.
All right, y'all. How we feeling about that one? The Boys, season 5, episode 6 recap. Where do we see this leading to? Could Billy Butcher and Homelander take each other out? Does everyone die? Does no one die? Is Huey up out of there? He might be the least character that I would say to myself that might die, but they might take the baby face out. We don't know. But like, comment, subscribe. Tell me how y'all feeling about that one. And thank you for everybody that pulled up to the session today, man. You truly appreciate it. You could have been anywhere for your smoke session, but you're here with your boy, man. It's the Offenders Initiative podcast. Happy Friday. Yeah.